Quinlan?
Good. You're finally here. Just set the books down anywhere. I'll get to them as soon as I can.
I think you're confusing me with someone else.
Perhaps I need to rummage through the supply bins for a new pair of glasses. Since it's obvious that you aren't who I was expecting, would you mind telling me why you're here?
Should I come back when you're less busy?
Our recent arrival in the Commonwealth has left me with an immense amount of data to compile. None of that's your fault, really. You're obviously here for a reason. What was it again?
Maxon wanted me to meet the crew. You were next on my list.
Ah, yes. You must be the new recruit described in Paladin Dance's report. Under normal circumstances, I'd provide you with a proper orientation of my department. However, I'm woefully behind setting up research patrols and getting bombarded with requests for technical documentation. Unfortunately, I'm lacking the personnel needed to get the job done.
What type of technical documentation are you looking for?
The Brotherhood is primarily interested in collecting information that might assist us with our current mission. Medical records, science journals, weapon schematics. If it contains any type of useful data, we need to get our hands on it.
What exactly is a research patrol?
Simply put, we send a small two-man team to scout a location and evaluate its technical and historical relevance. Saves us from sending an entire retrieval team to a worthless location.
Maybe I could lend a hand.
That would be splendid. As you patrol the Commonwealth, keep your eyes open for blueprints, memos, manuals, books, charts. Anything containing useful technical data. I'm authorized to pay you for each bundle of documents that you recover. And if you wish to be assigned to a research patrol, I have plenty of them waiting to be filled. In any event, it was a pleasure to meet you, Knight.
Let's talk to Proctor Tegan. I bet he has some excellent mods for our power armor.
Proctor?
Please, finish your introductions by all means. But I do hope you'll consider assisting me when you're done.
Glad you finally stopped by, soldier. Are you ready for your medical exam?
As long as it doesn't involve petroleum jelly and rubber gloves, I'm ready.
No. This isn't that sort of examination. I'm going to ask you a series of medical-related questions, and I'd like you to answer me to the best of your ability. First question. As a child, were you ever exposed to radiation for an extended period of time?
Wouldn't Vault-Tech's screening process have caught this already?
Vault-Tech's screening process? Let me check my notes here. You were a Vault Dweller? You're probably healthier than anyone else aboard. Anyway, sorry I missed that in your records. Just going down the list of questions. I'm sure you understand. Okay, second question. Have you ever had or come in contact with a person confirmed to be carrying a communicable disease?
Have you had problems with the crew catching diseases?
Well, yes, actually. It's not unusual for our recon teams to stumble across contaminated environments or disease-carrying creatures. We don't want a single crewman infecting the entire ship. Anyway, this exam is about you, so have you had?
Never been seriously sick in my life.
Good. Third question. And please, answer honestly. Have you ever had sexual relations with any species considered non-human?
That happens often enough for you to have a question about it?
You'd be surprised how many Wastelanders answer yes to that question. Fortunately, the Brotherhood finds that type of behavior absolutely distasteful. Since you haven't spent too much time in the Wasteland, I'll assume your answer is no. Last question. Would you have any problems pulling the trigger on an enemy of the Brotherhood, whether they're human, formerly human, or machine?
Nope. No problem whatsoever.
Excellent. You'll fit in quite well around here. Excellent. I think I've got all the information I need. I see no reason to prevent you from beginning your duties immediately. If you ever need medical assistance, you let me know.
Cade,
Please state the nature of your medical emergency.
Could use some supplies, actually.
No problem, soldier. Take a look.
Never did like this rust bucket. Oh, sure.
There. Try it now.
Nothing. I was supposed to report 10 minutes ago. If you can't fix it...
I can fix it. You're the one who decided to kick your way through a mirelurk. Got it.
There it is. Thanks, brother. I owe you.
These creatures use FEV to make more of their own kind. Disgusting.
The last person that disobeyed Captain Kells ended up scraping rust off the Pridwin's hull. From the outside.
So, you're the new recruit I heard about. Huh, not what I was expecting.
Sounds like you're disappointed.
Not disappointed, just surprised. You don't look like one of the usual wastelanders we pick up. Anyway, since you came down here to meet me, we may as well get it over with. My name's Ingram, and this lovely little grease pit is where you'll usually find me. If your power armor's too tight in the crotch, the Pridwin's about to crash into the ground, or a robot's gone haywire, you come see me.
While you're at it, my car's making this weird grinding noise when I back it out of the driveway.
You're gonna have to take a number. There isn't a day that goes by on this tub without 5 or 6 things breaking down. And since I'm stuck in this rig, I'm not quite as spry as I used to be. The work tends to pile up.
You feel like telling me how you ended up that way?
That's a little personal, don't you think?
Would it help if I promised not to tell anyone else?
Okay. Get you off my back about it. I was fighting with the Brotherhood in the Capital Wasteland. Worked at a staging area for the power armor troops. Our position was along a ridge line overlooking the battlefield. I'd say it was a 100-foot drop, give or take.
You weren't aboard the Pridwin?
The Pridwin wasn't under Maxson's command at the time. It wasn't even in the Capital Wasteland. If she'd had been there, the battle wouldn't have been such a challenge. To make a long story short, the ridge I was standing on took a hit from a nuke. Sheared most of the cliff right off, and caused the platform I was standing on to tumble over the side. If I hadn't been test piloting one of the power armor suits at the time, I would have died.
Your power armor helped you survive the fall?
Yeah, it took the brunt of the impact. But I don't know if I'd call it surviving. The suit was trashed after it landed, and I lost both of my legs. Haven't walked since. Anyway, I'm sure you're here to get your hands on some power armor. There's a pretty decent T-60 suit sitting in Bay 3 that's all yours. The left leg actuator's a bit sticky, but it'll keep the creeps off of you. Oh, and if you need any work done on it, feel free to use the workshops around here. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to get back to work.
Proctor.
Just fixed a few power armor mods and gave them to Tegan. You might want to check them out.
The human-looking synths are the worst. They hide in plain sight. Have you ever fired a minigun? Chews through ferrules like paper. I can't believe super mutants were human once. How could science have gone so wrong?
Step forward, Knight. Even though they've locked me in this blasted cage, I promise that I won't bite.
Why are you in there?
I'm glad you asked. Now, this is the stowage depot, and I, as you probably already guessed, am the ship's quartermaster, Proctor Tegan. The powers that be have me locked in here, so I can keep an eye on the Brotherhood's valuables. If you need to stock up on supplies before you head out on a mission, this is the place to buy them.
Wait, buy them? Since when does the military sell equipment to its own soldiers?
Since someone dropped a whole bunch of bombs and blew up every single factory that manufactured weapons and ammunition. Keeping the Brotherhood supplied takes caps, and everyone contributes to the cause. The good news is by having a constant flow of caps, I'm able to buy whatever you bring me. Yeah, I'm mostly interested in weapons, but I'll take anything useful. Of course, if you're just looking to make a few caps on the side, I might have some extra work for you to do.
As long as I don't end up in the brig.
Don't worry. Last thing I'd want to do is get our newest recruit in trouble. It just involves a little bit of heavy lifting and interacting with the local farms. And since I'm stuck up here manning this one-man zoo, I need someone to do the legwork for me. After you're done with the meet and greet, we can discuss the details. In the meantime, if you ever need anything else, a gun, a mod, even ammo, you just let me know.
Tegan.
Step forward, Knight. Even though they've locked me in...
Looks uncomfortable in there.
It's not that bad. Now, this is the stowage depot, and I, as you probably already guessed, am the ship's quartermaster, Proctor Tegan. The powers that be have me locked in here. If you need to stock up on supplies...
That's good to know.
I'm glad you're the agreeable. When I tell most of the new recruits that they have to buy their own equipment, they give me the stink eye. The good news is by having a constant flow of cap. Yeah, I'm mostly interested in weapons. Of course, if you're just look...
I could use some extra caps.
You need them.
Right.
It just involves a little bit. And since I'm stuck, after you're done with... In the meantime, if you...
Proctor.
What can I get for you today?
Set me up.
All of my weapons are mission ready.
Remember, we're out here representing the Brotherhood. Let's make them proud.
Proctor Quinlan.
Ah, Knight. You have technical documents, perhaps? Or looking to assist on a research patrol?
I found some technical documents for you.
These aren't technical documents. I don't have time for games, soldier. Come back when you've decided to take your duties more seriously.
Excuse me, Proctor Quinlan.
Ah, Knight. You have
I've got time to assist on a patrol.
Wonderful. I can't deny my excitement over the prospect of fresh data. Your assigned scribe will meet you at the airport. There, he'll give you the research patrol location. Return with both scribe and data intact, and your mission is complete.
I'd just leave that if I were you.
What's that for?
Please state the nature of your medical emergency.
Medical report, Knight Captain Cade, reported. I've been working closely with Scribe Naraya, examining some of the synth bodies that our recon teams have recovered. Even though we have yet to recover the synths that appear completely human, these lesser models are still astoundingly advanced. What's becoming apparent is that the Institute is the most technologically gifted enemy we've ever encountered, and therefore exceedingly dangerous. I've turned over all of my data to Lancer Captain Kells, along with my recommendations for developing effective countermeasures for these synths. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how much it will help, given the fact that the real enemy are the synths that could be hiding among us.
I prefer laser weapons myself.
Don't have the key.
It's a cleaner shot and leaves that memorable ozone smell behind.
Proctor Ingram said she needed this suit tested yesterday.
Yeah, I get it. Just, what if I miss?
Don't.
Okay, sure. Firing. Everything holding together?
Trust me, you'd know.
Good. Firing!
All right. Everything looks
Same
nominal. And you
I
didn't
think we
scuttle
can
the
learn a lot
ship.
from each other.
Thanks, Initiative.
Sure. Anytime. Never forget.
Hey there.
You are the eyes and the ears of the Brotherhood. If you see or hear anything suspicious, it is your duty to report it immediately. We live in enemy territory now. Your vigilance could mean the difference between life and death. Understood?
Yes, sir! Yes, sir!
Good. Ad Victorium, Squires.
Ad Victorium! Ad Victorium!
Dismissed.
There. That should hold.
Thank you, sister.
You know, we wouldn't have to worry about them getting out if they weren't on the ship.
Your concerns are noted, Scribe. Give Proctor Ingram my thanks for letting me borrow you. Feel free to have a look at the specimens, but please don't touch anything. I refuse to be held responsible if you're injured. Didn't you want to hear about my experiment?
Scribe Naraya.
Feel free to have a look at the specimens, but please don't touch anything. I refuse to be held responsible if you're injured.
Quite a collection you've got here.
Well, thank you. Most people don't appreciate the important work that I'm trying to do here. I'm on the cusp of discovering how these creatures' bodies have adapted to the radiation that's infiltrated their habitats. If I can crack the code, I can equip our troops with a protective compound far superior to Rad-X.
What do you mean, crack the code?
The genetic code. The DNA sequences that are in every living thing. You see, the ionizing radiation left behind by the Great War kills because it damages most living things on a cellular level. However, after several generations, these creatures' bodies have adapted by altering their genetic makeup to prevent cellular disruption. I believe I've discovered how I can replicate that genetic restructuring rapidly. Instead of decades, I can do it in moments. For a short period of time, anyway.
I'm sold. If you're looking for someone to help, you can sign me up.
I appreciate the offer, but unfortunately, I've hit a stumbling block. The specimens I've already captured can only produce so much blood and genetic material. If I try and harvest too much, they'll die. What I need are more samples of blood from the creatures roaming the Commonwealth.
No problem. I'd be glad to help.
I appreciate your confidence in my abilities, sister. I've modified your Pip-Boy to scan the corpse of any freshly killed creature that has the proper type of blood in its body. All you have to do is pick up any viable sample and bring it back to me. Hey, I really appreciate you doing this for me. It's nice to know I'm not the only person in the Brotherhood with an open mind.
Technology's in good hands with the Brotherhood. I know.
Squire? I'm not scared of synths. They're just like robots, right?
Have you collected any blood samples?
That's in better shape than I expected.
The Institute giving machines free will? My programming says that's monstrous.
If you find any technical documents, you should bring them to Proctor Quinlan for analysis.
Doesn't it feel good to be a part of something as important as the Brotherhood?
If you're looking for ammunition or weapon mods, Proctor Tegan might have what you need.
Do you know what a 10-pound cockroach can do to a buoyancy regulator?
I can guess.
Don't get smart. You want to see the Brotherhood's greatest warship brought down by God?
All right. Just don't tell Ingram.
You know, before getting shipped to the Commonwealth, I thought Elder Lyons still had some good points. The Brotherhood in the Capital Wasteland, they were about helping. But this assignment, it's opened my eyes. On the flight here, we passed city after city. Buildings taller than I've ever seen. Some that nearly clipped the Pridwin. And who uses them now? Mutants. Freaks. Seeing all that destruction, tens of millions dead, brought on by technology run amok, it made it so clear. Elder Maxon is right. The wasteland needs to be cleansed, and we're the ones to do it.
Greetings, Knight.
Hey there.
Nothing to report right now, Knight.
Now that you've familiarized yourself with the Pridwin's crew, are you ready for your next assignment, sister?
What sort of assignment are we talking about?
The kind of assignment where all of the training you've done finally begins to pay off. Let's get right to it then, shall we? Take a look over there. That's Fort Strong. And it's infested with super mutants. Having those aberrations of nature close enough to smell is making me sick to my stomach. To make matters worse, they're sitting on top of a massive stockpile of Fat Man shells we could use in our campaign. I want you to head over there, Wipe out everything that moves, and secure that stockpile. Understood?
What do these shells do?
The Fat Man launcher is an essential part of the Brotherhood arsenal. It's a miniature nuclear payload, in a man-portable format. A squad of troops armed with one of these is virtually unstoppable. If you ever have the pleasure of firing one of them, allow me to give you a word of advice. Don't fire one of them in close quarters. There won't be enough of you to bury in a shoebox. That enough to go on?
Super mutants? I thought the enemy was the Institute.
Super mutants are no better than Sentinels. They're a reminder of man's folly when it comes to harnessing technology. Whether it's using biochemistry to manipulate genes, or trying to create life from a bunch of circuits. It's the wrong path for science. As members of the Brotherhood, it's our sworn duty to exterminate these abominations in every form. So, can I count on you to get the job done?
Consider it done.
Look, I realize you're eager to take the fight to the Institute, but it'll have to wait. The Brotherhood cannot allow those abominations to have a nuclear arsenal at their fingertips.
Keeping nukes out of the hands of super mutants? Oh, we'll do our best, all right.
Now, we have a vertibird on standby, fully armed and ready to depart. Use it to carry our message to Fort Strong, and wipe those dirty mutants from the face of the earth. Dismissed.
The Pridwin is a magnificent ship, and we're lucky to have her in our arsenal.